I'm here with Marc McLoughlin, who's the Managing Director of Keyfleet. Welcome, Marc.
Hey, Mick. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. So, Marc, tell us a bit about your business, Keyfleet, and how long you've been going. What's it all about?
Okay, well, 15 years nearly. We're going into, I think it could be 15 years in March we've been trading. The really short answer is to tell you that we're a vehicle leasing and finance brokerage and fleet management provider, but that's pretty boring. So what I would say is, imagine the problem we solve is this. Imagine you're a business, you've got 10, 20, 40, 60 company car drivers. You're looking down the barrel of electrification. You can't quite make sense of all the prices. You've got drivers ringing up with support that they need, tyres, breakdown, accidents. You've no central location where you've got all this information stored or contact information. You've no fleet manager, so it's falling to admin, office manager, FD, ops, MD, whoever it could be. It gets hot potatoed around the office, and you end up making uninformed decisions on the wrong vehicles, funded the wrong way, mismanaged, and it just creates a big kind of company car shaped mess. And that's the problem that we solve. So we've created a number of schemes that are either on a deal by deal basis, if you will, but mostly they're on managed schemes where we create uniformity with some of the kind of best practice that's available in the kind of enterprise level sector, if you will. We create company car bandings. We help people understand the costs, the different funding, things like company car types. We're for guidance on that. And we help create these schemes. We put all the services and products in to keep making those vehicles easy to manage as well, so that your office manager can spend minutes rather than hours on it each week. We put the contact information in the driver's hand through the mobile phones. They've got all the numbers they need in the event of accident, rental, breakdown, tyres, etc. And we put a ribbon on it and we give it to the company, and that's their company car scheme. And we have people internally to support the drivers, not only selecting and ordering vehicles, but also if anything's needed once the vehicles actually arrive, tyres on the tarmac, as we say. So that's what we do. Like I said, we're categorised as a leasing brokerage. We're FCA regulated. It's mostly B2B. Over the years, that's become more kind of SME and in the small to medium-sized fleet sector. We tend not to deal with companies that have that fleet management resource internally. It's not that we can't deal with them or won't deal with them. It's just our superpowers are very much firmly in the, you've got to have this problem in order for us to be able to solve it. We do have a team that deals with smaller businesses. So if you're a plumber or a baker or a candlestick maker and you need a van or you need a couple of cars, we do that. It's still very relational and consultative and with a focus on electrification. I mean, electric vehicles probably account for over 90% of the vehicles on our books this last couple of years. So we consider ourselves experts in that area. And that's what we do. So we're a B2B electric vehicle leasing specialist, I would say, as a summary.
And that complete care that you mentioned there, Marc, is that, you think, what differentiates you, or is there something else on top of that?
Yes, that is the area. I mean, there's a bit of a chasm in the vehicle fleet market, if you will, which is at enterprise level. If you've got 500 vehicles, and all the leasing companies will fall over themselves to provide you with teams of people to help you select and manage those vehicles. If you are a private individual or a small business, there is a gazillion and one leasing brokers that can be found on Google that will sell you a cheap leasing deal. But it's the middle bit where the opportunity is, and actually where the problem is. It's where there's no expertise, no resource, but actually it's enough of a problem for it to be significant and distracting and also costly. The main challenge in our industry at the moment is availability of stock. We would tend to model our business on a 3 to 4 month lead time, with some wins from vehicles being available in weeks rather than months as well. Leasing brokers, dealerships and leasing companies are modeling their business on perhaps 5 to 10 month lead times at the minute. 6 months is probably reasonably accurate. There's some wins in there. We did an electric van from stock yesterday, for example. So there are little bits, But some vehicles we have on order, we'd be looking to see them by the end of next year. Land Rover, Porsche, people like that, Volkswagen Group, including Audi, they're longer lead times. Some of the new kids, the Teslas, the Polestars, they're coming probably ever so slightly quicker. So yeah, so availability of stock is a challenge, and that's to do with the, you know, the residual effects of the pandemic, but also what's going on over in Ukraine. There was also a well-documented shortage of parts for the automotive industry by way of these semiconductor chips, which goes into a lot of electronic devices, if not all of them. Who knew what one of those was until 2020? So that's a challenge, but that has a kick-on effect because it's the lack of supply is increasing demand. The manufacturers are, in some respects, being a little opportunist with their pricing policies. They're certainly removing discounts. Why wouldn't you? If you can't get hold of the cars, why give money away? That's having a kick-on effect into the rental industry, who rely on large discounts to make their models work. So whether you want to buy a car, lease a car, rent a car, it's all just really, really challenging and expensive at the moment in certain areas. But that's one of the reasons why people have got to look at electrification, because those high acquisition costs can only be made sense of through the tax and VAT efficiency of electric cars and the lower running costs. Despite the fact that electricity is more expensive at the moment, it's still vastly less than diesel and petrol. So yeah, there's a few things going on. Those long lead times are also leading to challenges around credit and underwriting. Naturally, funders that underwrite a client in January might want to take another look at them by October, if that's when the vehicles come in. So that creates more work. My team have been working really, really hard, not just on repricing, remodeling and revisiting orders, but don't forget, we've probably got, I don't know, hundreds of cars on order at the moment, but at the end of those cars is some drivers and you know, a lot of customers as well. So we're having to manage expectations. Sometimes you can do little than say, I'm really sorry, it's been delayed another 3 months.
So you've learned a lot along the way, I'm sure, Mark. What advice would you give to anybody going into business?
Don't listen to me. I don't think, one of the biggest things people starting a business should do is think long and hard about whether or not they want to do it, because it's there's a difference between working for yourself and growing a business. A lot of people start a business because they don't want to have a boss and they want to do their own thing, but that is a lot different to raising funds, hiring people, running offices, process, compliance, governance. So what I'd say is it's challenging is having a business more than people who've not done it could realize, I think. And also I think if I kind of had my time again, I think I would be clearer from the outset, and this is 15 years ago, about exactly who we are and what we do and who we deal with. Because I think it's easy when you start as a company to say we do anything for everybody, which, as you and I know, Mick, means you do nothing for no one. And have we pinched that from BNI? Probably have, haven't we? But yeah, so that, and also as well, I really respect businesses who come out the traps with their values clearly defined, because if you've got the right kind of values that encompasses the mood of the team and the business and what you do, then I think that can guide your decision making in almost all aspects of the business, whether it's recruitment, product, type of clients you deal with, how you deal with them, where you go looking for them, where you spend your time. So I think having a value-based business that's really focused on your target market, that knows clearly what your unique proposition is, because that probably took me and my business 6 or 7 years to get to that point, I would say, which is half of our existence. So I think we're there now. I think we've kind of got the rocket trajectory pointed in the right place. We are about to go on a big growth curve.
Mark, that's great insight, great advice, and I wish you well with your great future.
Thank you, Mick, and thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it. Same to you.